Hello YouTube, this is an alcohol review of Balloting chocolate whiskey. In this case it's Caramel Turtle. I do enjoy my flavored whiskeys. According to the label, it's 60 proof, 750ml bottle. Caramel color, natural flavors, of course. It's a flavored whiskey. It says here, blend craft chocolate and fine whiskeys. Descriptions on the side is nothing more than just simply boasting about their flavors and their techniques and age and what a great idea it is, and so forth and so on. We have a crushed cork with a wood top and a nice paper tag on it. The reason why I bring this up is that way back in the day, there was a time when the cork trees had a blight, and it took the cost of corks and just drove it through the roof, and the industry's been recovering from it ever since. And we're talking decades they've been trying to recover from this. So sometimes you get a plastic, sometimes we get a all solid cork, other times we get this meshed and glued together. It all depends on how much the industry is willing to pay for having an all cork, as well as some may say that it might be better to have just a plastic or just a solid or whatever it is. Guys here squirrely in the back. He's upset that there's a cat in his yard. That, or he's upset with the fact that I did all the peanut butter reviews weeks ago. One of the two's got his little furry tail and a scruff. Alrighty. We have here a caramel with heavy yellow influence all through it. Almost to the point of saying it's a dark honey. Now, if you're wondering why the look, you see them in those commercials where they show a contest and the guy's staring it through. Really what you're looking for is if there's a haze of sorts in it, or any kind of contaminants. The haze would be due to poor filtering. Now, that's most of the time. Some cases, if the haze is supposed to be there, then that will indicate that the haze is supposed to give some sort of flavor content to the rest of the flavor profile that you're getting out of your drink. So you got to make sure it's mixed through thoroughly then. Most of the time, 90% of the time, if not more, that haze is not supposed to be there. And if you see it, it means somebody made an error someplace. Next we do is the swirl. Swirl. The swirl, in this case, when we stop, immediate tearing. That's surprising. When you do your swirl, you'll notice that it'll create a line on the inside of the glass. In this case, up to here, because that's where I got it going. And when you stop, you see that line, and then it looks like crags, and then it like streaks coming down, wavy lines. That is known as tears, because tears make a wavy line coming down, or legs. Legs aren't straight, they've got a wavy shape to them. The faster it tears, or legs, whichever you prefer, the faster it does it, that means the less sugar there is in solution. The sugar is needed for part of the process of making the whiskey in the first place, because it needs to be fermented first, then distilled. Well, the residual sugars, if there's a lot of it left over, it'll take a long time or won't even tear at all. If there's little sugar, boom, lots of tearing really fast. And that means less residual sugars. Indicates, one, that it will be less sweet. Less residual sugars, less sweet. Two, the reason why it holds on to the side of the glass is the viscosity And with the lower viscosity, the more it wants to run down, i.e. syrupy. So the more sugar there is, the heavier it's going to be on the palate. So by visualizing, we can see here that this flavored whiskey should not be sweet tasting at all, or very little sweet tasting, and very light on the palate. This indicates also, with lightness on the palate, it should have a short hang time. And that is the length of the time the flavors stay on your palate between given sips, as it were. So, short hang time, not very sweet, and kind of watery on the palate. Children, I'm sure you might have heard that. Kids playing in the background. Obviously not mine. Or at least not that I'm willing to admit to. Also, the swirling inside a Glencairn glass. This is a Glencairn glass. I got a good look at it there. Because it has a wide belly to it, you get a lot of surface to air contact, which means as the alcohol evaporates, it goes straight up, hits, narrows, so it kind of narrows up, narrows to the nose, gives you a greater chance to smell more of the nuances. When you swirl it, now we're getting a light film up down the sides, more surface air contact, more evaporation, more odor. It smells just like caramel turtles. I get no whiskey out of it. None at all. No burn, no bite, nothing. Just a wonderful smell of kind of like a watered down caramel turtle. Per the norm, what you see is not always what you get. There's a burn, strong, constant burn, the tip of the tongue down the sides. There's a bit of a heaviness in the solution, which I thought there would not be as a swirl, but there's a heaviness on the palate, and I'm still tasting it, and it's got a long hang time. Several things that by glance should not be there, but is. Pardon. And there is a heaviness, a thickness to it. Another thing that by doing a swirl, we thought it would not be, but there is. Knowing that this is a caramel turtle chocolate flavored, I expected the sweetness, the heaviness on the palate, a hidden burn, or worse, a hidden bite. That would have shown even more youth to the whiskey. The burn at least shows some sort of age was put into it. I don't know how much, but at least there's some. It's just everything that visually comes through is the exact opposite on the palate, which is one of the things that's amazing about bourbons, whiskeys, and other kind of spirits, is that you can do this. See the science, understand the science, know what's going on, taste it, and be completely wrong. It's fascinating. This is a nice dessert whiskey. The no bite to it, but that burn's not offensive. If anything, the burn reminds you that there's some sort of alcohol in it. Usually I get like a burnt tire from the ethanol, and there isn't any of that in this. It is so heavy with the caramel and chocolate that you don't taste any whiskey notes at all. So it makes it a very nice dessert sipper if you're not looking for the flavor of a whiskey or a bourbon. And yes, to those out there There are some people out there they just want something interesting and sweet to drink, and this strikes that note right there, right on through. Now it could use an ice cube. There is a bit of bitterness involved. And the thing is, when you put in ice, it automatically detracts from the nose as well as the palate. Because whatever detracts from the nose is going to detract from the palate right there. Because what you smell is largely what you taste. Ice dampens that down. Well, cold in general dampens that down. There's so much chocolate, so much caramel, I don't think it would harm this at all. If anything, it would help it out. This, I think, would be really good in a cola. With all that sweetness, might make too much of a sugar bomb, but I think the rest of the flavors would go very well in a nice cola. As for like a time of year and when this would be great to sip, it's definitely too heavy for summer. Too much body to weigh you down. Definitely a light winter, fall, late fall, early spring, light winter. When the winter gets really bad, may not quite have the backbone to put up with heavy snow coming down and a fire raging in the background and a good book or something in your hand. It might be a little light for that, but it might work. Give it a try. See what you guys think. This is Balloting chocolate whiskey caramel turtle flavor. Any comments about this particular whiskey down below be warmly accepted. As all, hold on here. There we go. All right. Yeah, the anal retentiveness is coming in handy. Any comments down below be warmly accepted as always. Or better yet, go out, buy it, try it, and let the rest of us in the YouTube spirits community know your thoughts on Balloting Caramel Turtle. Now, I went to the website and there's tons of the more flavors that they have that are all chocolate based. I'm dying to give them a try. So this probably will not be the last review I'll give of this particular brand, just to see what the others taste like. But let me know what you guys think. See if you love it, see if you hate it. Not all people like a flavored bourbon or flavored whiskey. This, not bad. It's definitely worth the cost. Till next time, keep on drinking.